Golden Cuppers, it's your boy, two B's, two C's, cream cheese, aka Warriors Out West, here with the 2021 breakdown of our Golden Cup draft. It was nice to see most of y'all last month, but I can't get started without looking back at 2020 and congratulating myself on winning the Golden Cup. Ugh. As you may have heard, the Warriors are the only three-time champion in the league. I know y'all are so proud of me. I appreciate that. Thank you. Luckily for you guys, being humble is actually one of my best characteristics. Next to winning championships. But anyways, I'll move on. Hey, I'm gonna get straight to it. Directly what y'all want to hear. That team by team breakdown. All right, here you go. J-Mac, wow, sick team, bro. Hamburg, oof, that's elite. Philly Mitch, geez, that's quite a stacked. Donkeys, Gcdl Pete's starting lineup looks crazy good. These nuts are definitely super tight. Pulverizer is freaking loaded. Bench press stacked like the motherfucking milk crate challenge. PTP looks like the best ever. Wow, I'm really high on the Warriors. Ari's team is bitchin' good. I really do fuck with Hookers and Blows team. Myers guys are like really good, easily making a run. So there you go, 2021 breakdown. Just kidding. Hey, let's go ahead and take a look first, though, at the draft. Everybody knows the draft had one clear winner, COVID. Yeah, kept Meyer isolated, kept Phil MIA. Good to hear that you boys are both doing better. Once the draft started, I gotta say it was crazy seeing the rookies go first when everyone had all that salary cap space. A lot of the favorites, like rookies Kyle Pitts and Najee Harris, they went 1-2 in the draft. Najee, respectable 68 to the Hopheads. That's a pretty good salary for rookie running backs if they end up producing. And then Pitts went to J-Mac for 63, which did seem a bit high. But of course, it's tough when those annual values aren't yet established. We saw a bit of the reverse later when the wallet started tightening up. Not surprisingly, Ari's Moneyball strategy took its turn and he cleaned up with running back values. James Robinson for 36, DeAndre Swift for 32, Donkeys nabbed Gus Edwards for 20. Oh, let's go ahead and update that. Donkeys did get Gus Edwards for 20, but not so much for good deal anymore. Myles Gaskin to Hookers and Blow for 32, all really solid selections. Can't talk about running back value without talking about the value keepers. That would be Aaron Jones for $1 million and J-Max Jonathan Taylor for 60. In terms of the draft, though, the big four, Henry, Kamara, Cook, McCaffrey, those all went for 95 plus as expected. If you want to look at any kind of value there towards the top, Zeke at 85 maybe. Primetime players scooped him up. Nick Chubb at 75 to the Donkeys. He's a guy that could be a 100 mil running back. But if I had to be mean about it, I think the worst contracts came at the end of those RB1 kind of guys. Contracts to Josh Jacobs, Chris Carson, both for 61 million. Antonio Gibson for 77. I like Gibson a lot, but he now holds the 11th largest contract in the Gcdl for 2021. I was surprised he went for more than 50, and same for the other two. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. But I also think these owners were looking at the few running backs available, the open running back slots, few starters to go around, because there wasn't a single running back that went for anything in the 40 million range. So everybody pushed those on up. Matter of fact, there wasn't a running back in the 50 mil range. That whole area got squeezed out. So we did see some higher end stuff on those back end RB1s, and then value a little bit towards the bottom end of that. But it's kind of crazy. Technically, there isn't a $50 million range player in the league. So it tells you about that mid-range and the top and bottom of what happens with Golden Cup. Pivoting over to the wide receiver room, keepers galore definitely affected the pricing decisions. We had just 7 wide receivers drafted at 60 million or more compared to 16 running backs. So definitely wallets opened up for the running backs, tightened up for the receivers. Best keeper contract, you got to give that to the Donkeys. Justin Jefferson, $2 million. Oof, solid. Sutton for $1 million to bench press. Nice. AJ Brown, Warriors, baby, $10 million. Not bad at all. And let's go ahead and throw in CD Lamb for 25. He just snagged a 3-year deal from Pulverizer. Many around the league think Lamb could be one of the guys that's really in the top 5 this starting year as we see a changing of the guard with the newer, fresher, younger receivers kind of taking over. Looking at best values, hey, let's go ahead and stay right on that. That's Ridley, 71. He may be the best receiver in the league by the time this year is over with. Hophead snagged him up. Mike Evans, pulverizer, 42 million. Harry McLaurin went for 35 to D's nuts. These are all big time guys that produce big time points. In terms of overvalue guys, yeah, there wasn't really a ton in the wide receiver market. I'd probably have to say Philly Mitch, going with Julio Jones for 65 fits the category. But my own magazine here, it's got Julio ranked as the number 113 receiver. He was given the 7th highest wide receiver contract. It's really not that far off. Plenty of ceiling to be had at 65. So, who knows? Not exactly overvalued. We'll see. Another guy to a lesser extent, though, maybe Jalen Waddle to bench press for 30. I mean, 30 isn't terrible contract at all, and he could easily fit that CD Lamb projection. But there were just so many good starting receivers taken under 20 million. Every AFC North receiver, all those Steelers, both the Brownies, D's nuts and J Max snatched up most of those guys. One of them to Philly Mitch. Robbie Woods to the Hopheads was good value, and then DJ Moore to Lawyer Up, also big time value at receiver. Okay, so there's what we go there. We're not going to really do any of the tight end stuff. We saw Kyle Pitts went high, somebody else was kept, whatever. It's on to the divisions. Well, maybe a quick break. Brought to you by Crown Trophy, who's about to put Alvin Kamara's name on my trophy. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the divisions and see how our teams are actually stacking up now. See where your grade is coming in at. See what the old cream cheese Warriors out west thinks of the squad. So take a deep breath, guys. Best of luck. I'm just a guy with an opinion. Let's start with the home division. We got the Donkeys, Bench Press, Lawyer Up, J-Mac. This was the division that's been clearly cursed by the Ravens. As we saw, Bench Press took J.K. Dobbins for 31. He didn't even nominate it. He bid him up. And then Grady didn't tell him until afterwards that he was actually hurt. So as he let me know today, karma struck. Gus Edwards out for the Donkeys. So interesting to see that kind of taking place. Definitely lightened up the division a little bit. When I look at Bench Press's team, though, even without J.K. Dobbins, I still see a lot of star power. Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Hopkins, big three. Got the big three to get it done to put up big numbers. On that help side is what I call it. Cortland Sutton, Sony Michel. That's a pretty good help side. Then a couple of flyers. Jalen Waddle, who I didn't like the contract, but as far as the player goes in the team, hey, he could be a good player. And then Le'Veon Bell, he snatched up, I saw. So, while the Ravens are hurting at running back, Lev Bell is quickly moving up the charts over there. We'll see if he ends up being the one, if he can run like a RB1. But definitely worthy of a flyer and a little bit of CYA for bench press with the misstep on Dobbins. Taking a look now at Lawyer Up, this guy's deep team. Russell Wilson, George Kittle, Adam Thielen, James Robinson. I mean, not quite the same type of star power, but these are dudes. On the help side, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper. So a lot of guys that can definitely slot into that, top 5 to top 20 type category. You fill up a lot of those type categories, and you have the tight end position. That's a recipe for success. So Lawyer Up definitely could make a run this year. Taking a look at the Donkeys next, I see as a pretty wide receiver heavy team. 2 good running backs, but I really like the receivers he's got. Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson. The other studs leading the way is going to be Nick Chubb, who I think, at the price of 75 is a really good price. He could be a 100 mil guy, but committee situation, he could be a 30 mil kind of guy. You don't really know what to expect, but a big time ceiling. Antonio Gibson, young guy, fresh legs, should be getting all the touches. So has enough there at running back, even with the loss of Gus Edwards, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson. And then you talk about the help side, Antonio Brown. Hey, cheap contract too, and he can ball. It's still AB. Tom Brady is actually a good fantasy quarterback last year. I was surprised as well. And then he did snatch up Devontae Freeman. So they were just signed to the Ravens today following the Gus Edwards news. So both those guys able to try and handcuff a little bit They're hurt running backs. Finally, in the home division, I got J Mac. He puts the TE in team. J Mac already had that Darren Waller contract and was quick to nominate Kyle Pitts and bid that dude up to 60 plus. So those two are definitely going to have to lead the way. His contract with Jonathan Taylor, only 60 million, is a quality contract, and that guy could also be RB1 or 2 this year. Just because we've had like the Derrick Henrys and Kamara's at the top in the past. Those guys don't stay there for very long, and a lot of times this new wave looks a lot like the Chubbs, the Jonathan Taylors, and his Kareem Hunt. The other side of that 50-50 backfield in Cleveland. He's one injury away from being a 100 mil type guy. Throw in that he's got the lock-in tight ends. J-Mac could make it difficult, for others. The help side, I see, Jarvis Landry, Matt Stafford, Flyer, Kenneth Gainwell, rookie running back up there in Philadelphia. Don't expect a ton, but again, big play potential. Just not sure about the depth there, but definitely a decent-looking squad. Heading over to the in-between division, we've got D's Nuts, Philly Mitch, DMF, and Hookers and Blow. And this division's looking pretty good. It's funny because I think 2 of the teams are a lot like each other, and the other 2 teams are a lot like each other. The first 2, let's look at D's Nuts. I call them like the King Henrys. So they got Derrick Henry, clearly going to be looking to lead the way. Bell cow back, give me all the touches. That's that kind of guy he is. Surrounded him with some pretty good talent. Josh Allen at quarterback, complete dual threat that actually threw for yardage compared to the other guys. David Montgomery, do we still think he's going to be a superstar back? Probably not. Can he be a really good fantasy back, though? Yeah, and he was last year, even when we didn't want him to be. Outside of that, help side, how about F1? Terry McLaurin. That guy is a baller and could be a top 10 receiver. Juju, Tyler Boyd, OBJ. Lot of depth, a lot of receivers that could all fall in that kind of top 20 range. You mentioned he's also got Derrick Henry and a mobile quarterback, help at running back. That's a good squad. I like it. Philly Mitch. These are the fighting McCaffreys. Call them UNC, the Bears. But led by which McCaffrey is that now? It's not Jordan McCaffrey. Just kidding. Christian McCaffrey. You guys need to look up your UNC Bears, Northern Colorado. Christian McCaffrey, also complemented with Julio Jones and a mobile quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. Help side, he's got receivers. Tyler Lockett looks to be cemented as a solid fantasy receiver. Claypool in Pittsburgh, I like it. Flyer, Zach Moss. Okay. Could do some things. Ultimately going to be hinged on how good Christian McCaffrey is and really, how much help he's going to get from the other guys. If Tannehill has a Josh Allen type season, Philly Mitch will be right there up at the top. Next, I got DMF, Don Mar Ford, the DMF Chiefs, as I call him. What's up, Chief? He's got Mahomes to Hill, and he's got Chris Carson and DK Metcalf. Yes. Help side, Mike Davis. Flyer, Devontae Smith, Trey Sermon. I mean, his team has dudes, a lot of dudes, but a lot of stars at the same time. Absolutely loaded. They've had a lot of success over recent years riding these Chiefs, and looks to be doing the same this year, complementing with heavy on the Seahawks. And then finally rounding out the in-between division, Hookers and Blow, the H&B Packers, as I'm going to be calling them this year and last year. Those were the keepers for them. Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones looking good. But really, really good draft. Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce, got some help side with Myles Gaskin, Jerry Jeudy, a lot of upside with Marquez Callaway. Philip Lindsay as a running back down in Houston could do a lot of damage. New scene, still got some fresh legs. He had a really set strategy with some low-cost keepers that could produce a lot of talent and points, and then was really excited with what he did on draft day with those receivers, especially Diggs and Jeudy, Callaway. Just a really, really good draft there. So loving the Hookers and Blow team. Nice work. Finally, let's head over to the away division. So start off with Warriors, baby. We got the band back together. Every starter, aside from Devontae Adams, is back. We tried to get him back. Actually bid too much on him, but luckily got outbid at the last second. Otherwise, I would have had way too many receivers. But the studs are back. Kyler, Kamara, Mixon, A.J. Brown, yeah, guys got it done last year. Help side, some of my young guys, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk. And then rookie running back from Denver, Javonte Williams. I expect to see some really good things from him. So Warriors definitely got a squad that should contend again, even though they had a big loss at receiver. The other receivers that the Warriors do have are young and getting better, so we'll see. Put the name in the hat. Next up, how about the Hamburg Hopheads? Really top heavy, led by wide receivers, but he's got some studs. Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin down there in Tampa Bay. His running backs, man, do I love his running backs. CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Najee Harris, could be Rookie of the Year. Help side, Robert Woods, it was a champion last year for the Warriors. And then he's got Dak Prescott getting kicked off tonight. Before Dak went down, I think he was back on Primetime Player Squad. He was the #1 quarterback and had PTP undefeated and riding high. So big fan of what he did there. Took a flyer on Justin Fields. Took a flyer on Tyson Williams. Or is it Tyson? I don't know. But either way, another Baltimore running back who I guess is currently the RB1 there, but could be changing any day now. Either way, loaded with stars, some good vets in the middle, and some nice flyers. This should help out. Nice mobile quarterback situation, something I'm always looking for. Primetime players, PTP, or as we're calling it this year, RBU, Running Back University. Dalvin Cook, boom, no longer a donkey. He's a primetime player now. Ezekiel Elliott, boom, primetime player now. Went ahead and added Keenan Allen again. That's a favorite of his, and for good reason. Keenan is a vet in the league that always seems to finish right around the top 10 fantasy-wise and come through it and help you win over the weekend. A little bit of help side with Marquise Brown. He's a big guy that blow the top off. Mark Andrews. So with all the running backs down, people are thinking Baltimore could throw more. Definitely got some hope there. Didn't quite get the roster filled out, lacks a little depth, but it does have really high-end talent. And that's what wins football games. Nobody cares how much your bench scores. So really dangerous team, even though it's a little deceiving if you look at the overall roster. But, big-time running backs get it done in big-time games, and he's got some receivers that'll do it too. Finally, let's go ahead and head over and the Pulverizer team. They've got some RB depth. Not quite the star power that we just saw in PTP, but good depth. Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders. I like it. He's got wide receiver depth. CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson. I like it. Maybe a little bit of a money ball strategy. Pulverizer didn't spend more than 70 on anybody in the league. So kind of likes that high-end supreme already certified star, but he's got a lot of dudes. And a lot of dudes can become stars. So we'll see what they've got cooking this year, but definitely have a lot of guys that can make some noise in the division. I honestly think when we look at who's going to win the divisions, the away division is the toughest in the league. Pole might get it done. Warriors might get it done. But I don't have it like that. I got the Hopheads winning the division. And those guys are good. Squad's loaded. The in-between teams, they may have two of the best teams in the league. But I got Hookers and Blow winning that one. And then finally in the home division, you know me, I'm a star power kind of guy. I'm a Lamar kind of guy. I'm a score a lot of points kind of guy. So I'm going to go with Beechwood Lane Bench Press. So here's your 3 division champs. Your 3 wild cards. We got to give one to Don Meyer Ford, DMF Chiefs. Got to go Warriors out west, baby. Brought the band back together. And as I see it, the Donkeys, Lawyer Up, and D's Nuts all fight for that last playoff spot. But I got D's Nuts. Knew that was coming. Anyways, I honestly think the 3 best teams in the league this year, Don Meyer Ford, Hookers and Blow, and the Hopheads. Love Hookers and Blow star power and depth. But in the championship game, I got the Hamburg Hopheads taking on Don Meyer Ford. I love it. DMF packed full of Chiefs and Seahawks. Got Mahomes, The Hill, Chris Carson, DK Metcalf. Absolutely loaded. These guys made the playoffs last year. 2018 champ with a lot of the same dudes. So a lot of that pedigree is already there. Championship pedigree. And, this guy is determined like a motherfucker after he drafted in isolation. He'll be all over the waiver wire with that type of focus, I'm sure. Got to take it on the Hopheads. Love the Hopheads. Missed the playoffs last year, but 23rd team chant looks stronger than ever. Love the starting running backs. CEH, Zillaire, and Najee Harris. I've already talked a lot about the young receivers, how they could be the next group coming through. I think Calvin Ridley might be that dude. He's got Ridley, Chris Godwin, Robert Woods. Got Dak at the helm. Yep, that's right. I got the Hopheads winning it all. But maybe, just maybe, Justin Fields is the one that gets his name engraved. I don't know. Nah, just kidding. It'll be Najee Harris. Nah, we'll see. Right. But in all seriousness, let's know. Best of luck this year, boys. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. I had a blast of the draft. Great to see y'all. And don't forget, I think your team is really, really, really good. See y'all. Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Warriors? Nobody.